Detroit in 313. We're back. Steve and Will talking that Detroit Lions football. Before we get going, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget that bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. Steve, what the heck are we talking about, man?
Well, we're going to have a little discussion. We're going to have a little discussion about some of these former rookies now going into year two, some second-year players, a phenomenal draft class, probably one of the Detroit Lions' best draft classes as of now, as it sits today. Let's see how this current draft class pans out, but it's going to be hard to beat. Yeah. Let's talk about if these guys can take a step forward going into year two, if it's even possible, because they performed so well, most of them. But how do you feel about some of these second-year guys?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I feel like we got a group of guys in stepping into their second year that could be potential multiple All-Pros, multiple Pro Bowlers, multiple Gold Jackets. Steve, right out of the gate, I know I've mentioned it around people at the barbershop. I mentioned it around people at work, and I've just mentioned it around family. And when I start talking about Gold Jackets in this rookie class, multiple Gold Jackets, they look at me and they say that I'm nuts. So last year's guys coming into their second year, do you see any Gold Jackets? Do you see any All-Pros? Do you see any Pro Bowlers?
If Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, I'm going to hit the brakes a little bit on Jack Campbell, but if those three guys stay on course, the course that they're currently on and their trajectory, are we talking like first ballot, second ballot? Like what are we talking about here? Like right off the rip? Do they have to wait a couple years?
Thank you.
They're on the right trajectory. Now, a lot can happen, and I don't want anything to happen, but those three guys are probably the main three we're going to be focused on today. We're going to sprinkle in some Jack Campbell. I don't want to get heavily into Broderick Martin because we have a little episode prepared for you guys, so I'll just disclose that at the beginning. We do know that he's going into year two, but we've talked about him privately, so he's got his own sunshine that'll be out. We'll see when we release that video.
No doubt, man. Steve, I'm thankful because I don't like arguing with you, man. I would be honest. I know that people love to see us argue.
It's not much of an argument when I'm always right, but
okay. Now we can argue about that, but for the sake of, because people have told us, man, it's fun when you guys argue. But what we don't do is get on here and just argue just to argue because people think it's fun or because people like to see us argue. We give our true opinion. So I like to say, man, I don't like to argue with you. For me personally, I love getting on here talking football. And when we agree, it's just all kumbaya. It feels good. I leave here feeling good after. Right. But today, you said it and I agree with it. But people, put it in the comments. How do you feel about it's the exact three that Steve said is the exact three that I argue with people about all the time. Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that all three of those guys could finish their careers with Gold Jackets, but I am willing to bet large sums that all three of those guys at some point make a Pro Bowl. Now, listen, I'm not, you said it. A lot of things can happen when we're talking about Gold Jackets. I'm not going to sit up here and say Gold Jackets, although that's what I see with my eyeballs. But I will strongly voice my opinion that all three of those guys at some point will make Pro Bowls. Those guys are dogs. Those guys are beasts. Those guys are going to be probably, I can't see any of the three of those guys leaving the Detroit Lions unless it's on the last couple years of their career. They've probably played too long. They're asking for too much money. But for the lion's share, you see what I did there? I did it again. Mm-hmm. The lion's share, right, of their career, they're going to be Detroit Lions. Do you agree?
I sure hope so. Yeah. I don't like to see guys come to town that we grow to love as fans. And I'll even say it, like, I know he wasn't like a homegrown draft pick, but Jamal Williams was a fan favorite of mine. Mm-hmm. I really like to see, but hey, he left. Business is business. Obviously, you see that, maybe it was a little bit better with Detroit. The grass wasn't greener on the other side. So I'd love to see these guys stay Lions. Is it possible to keep all three and Jared Goff? It's going to be tough, but we'll worry about that down the road. So let's just start right off the rip. Who do you think needs to, out of the main three, you could even sprinkle in someone else if you want, who needs to step up the most?
Listen,
there's really no wrong answer.
There may be a wrong answer, but you did this to me like a week ago, and I didn't like it. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like it. So I am going to step outside the rule books here. I am going to throw a curveball. I am going to play on words here. You said second-year guys, and to me, J-Mo is a second-year guy.
Well, not technically, but
He's a second year guy. To me, he that first year.
3 years ago.
Hey, listen. That you didn't say drafted 3 years
He
ago.
was drafted 3 years ago.
You didn't say drafted 3 years ago. So second year of production, we'll say.
Well, he played as a rookie still.
Yeah, did he though? Did he though?
I'm
Did
going
he?
to allow it,
Yeah,
but I don't think
appreciate
the comment. I hope the commenters get you for me.
Whatever. So J-Mo, man, is as I go through the people on this list, man, Laporta, Branch, Gibbs, and Jack Campbell, if they all gave me what they gave me last year, right, I would be okay if J-Mo went nuts, right? So if Gibbs was playing like he was at the end of the season, Campbell was playing like he was at the end of the season, Branch and Laporta, I would be just fine. But I would not be fine if J-Mo was playing exactly like he was playing at the end of the season. I know he scored a couple of touchdowns, but I need production. I need games with 5, 6, 7 receptions, a couple of touchdowns. I need those Tyreek Hill type moments because I believe that he is able to do that, and we have a quarterback who is capable of doing that. So, Jared, we've hammered you about not being able to throw that deep ball and take the roof off of this thing. Prove us wrong, man. Let's get some play action. We got the best run game in the NFL. Let me tell it, two-handed monster. Let's get some play action. Let that thing fly. J-Mo, get up under it, and let's have some huge plays. So to me, if J-Mo plays absolutely out of his mind, right, this offense is going to go from top 5 to the offense must-see TV in the NFL. Am I crazy, Steve, or do you agree?
William, there's nobody here on this world who's defended Jameson Williams more than Steve Perkins. There's
True.
just not.
True.
I've died on my sword many times. Shield on my back, sword in hand, handful of hair, face full of blood. I fought for this guy.
You have.
I'd love to see him take a step forward. And I like the stats that you even threw out 5, 6, 7 catches. It's not an absurd number.
Yeah.
It's not a crazy number to get him the ball. Well, I'll meet you in the middle. It's not insane to get him the ball 6 times a game.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't care if it's a reverse, a jet sweep, a screen, a deep ball, a 10-yard slant. I don't care. I need him to have the balls. Have the balls. I need him to get the ball 6 times. I'm happy with 6. That's a great number. 5, I'm okay with. 4, maybe we could have got more. Somewhere in that range. He's a weapon. He's an absolute problem with the ball. I think he scored a touchdown. He scored it on a reverse. He scored it on an end around, a deep ball. I want to see. I think the only thing he hasn't done is take like a bubble screen 70 yards. So that's really the only thing I don't think he's done. The point is, you get him the ball, defenses start to get nervous. They don't want to. They don't see people with that type of speed often. You mentioned Tyreek Hill. Different kind of player, different kind of wide receiver, but the speed is an X factor. We don't have a lot of guys like that. Jameson Williams is probably the only one. Amon St. Brown eluded a lot of things. He's not really flying by many people.
True.
But go ahead.
I was just going to say, I hope they take a note from the Miami Dolphins. I like what the Miami Dolphins do as far as motion. I love how they change the formation. They motion guys into their routes. They fake end arounds. They fake jet sweeps and run their plays off of it. That's what I want to see, right? Don't let people just get comfortable with knowing if J-Mo's coming in motion, he's running a jet sweep or he's running a crossing pattern. All right, let's do some other things. Bring him in motion and run the ball. Bring him in motion and run him on a whip route or a 7 out of it. You know what I mean? Let him be the second or third read on a play. You know what I mean? I want to see us get more dynamic with this offense, add some wrinkles to it, man. And I want J-Mo to be the number 1 read. I don't feel like ever through this season, J-Mo was the number 1 read when Jared Goff was dropping back. Now, was that a trust thing? Was that, because at the beginning of the season, I could completely understand why Jared Goff may not have trusted J-Mo. But towards the end of the season, dude made some tough catches. He made catches in traffic. He made a lot of plays, man, on catches to where he was just this close, just got tripped up on plays that could have also been touchdowns and added and padded those stats. So, man, if I'm being honest, man, I agree 100%. And I need those 5 touches. I need them, period. Like, I'm going to be upset if I look and I'm like, man, J-Mo only had 1 or 2 touches, man. It's just, I can't have it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think that kind of would help solve our third quarter woes.
Here at Detroit Den, I believe in rules. I believe in rules, William. We've only done 1 episode where we bitched about a referee. It was rightfully so. We don't get on here and do that too often.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about second-year players, I'm going to keep it to second-year players. Okay,
My bad. I apologize.
Just first and
Back to
foremost.
business.
First,
Back to
I mean, I
business.
guess I could just throw out, hey, well, Jared Goff, second-year player. I mean, he's only
Whatever.
I could spit it. I'm going to say, what's been the biggest issue that the Detroit Lions have had the last 2 years is defense.
Pass rush and score third quarters.
That's right. I need Brian Branch on the field way more than what he was. Yeah. Now, when he was on the field, it was an absolute problem. I think my favorite game was against Atlanta, where he pretty much completely shut down Bijan Robinson all by himself and made some other plays on some wide receivers. So we could fast forward to the NFC Championship game where Kyle Shanahan found a way to get Brian Branch off the field by putting out certain formations. Brian Branch is a nickel corner. So when Kyle Shanahan So when Kyle Shanahan's saying, all right, how can I keep that nickel off their team? How can I put him on the sidelines? Just not going to put out a slot receiver. That's what I'm going to do. I need Aaron Glenn. I need all hands on deck. I don't care if Brian Branch has to play safety. I don't care if he has to play slot corner, outside corner, hybrid linebacker. He has to be on the field. He is probably the second best defensive player we have, in my opinion, behind Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson a league of his own. But when it comes to the passing game, Brian Branch is probably the most important person in my eyes. He can blitz, he can cover a running back, he can cover a tight end, he can cover a slot receiver, he can cover an outside receiver. I need him on the field. End of story.
I like it. Maybe my immediate question is going to be this: who are you taking off the field? Is it Ife Melifonwu? Is it Kirby Joseph? Who are you taking off?
I think it could be situation depending. What I need Brian Branch to do. Do I need him to cover? Can I send him on a blitz? How do I like these matchups? That's all up to Aaron Glenn. I know it's a vague answer. It's a politician's answer. I wonder who I learned that from, William.
Absolutely.
As long as he's on the field, I don't care. If we got to take Carlton Davis off the field, I'm not saying I would prefer that, but if it's an Ife Melifonwu, a Kirby Joseph, maybe there's some situations where we can get him in and rush from the edge and outside blitz. He's got plenty of options, is what I'm saying.
Steve,
just got to get him on the field.
I'm going to tell you what the answer is, hands down, without question. And I don't mean any shade because I absolutely love this guy. It's Kirby Joseph. But Kirby Joseph is out there to play center field, right? Brian Branch can play center field, but he's also going to come up and hit you in the mouth. He's also going to tackle, right? He's not diving at your ankles. He'll hit you in your chest, right? So I think that, in those situations, I hope moving forward that if you bring a bunch of tight ends out there and you try to go big boy on us, we take our guy Kirby Joseph off the field because he no longer needs to be a center fielder, which he's probably the best center fielder that we have. Ex-wide receiver, I love how he does his game or plays his game. No hate. But if I need somebody to come up and hit somebody in the mouth, if I need somebody to play tough, gritty football, I'm going to Brian Branch. I'm not going to Kirby Joseph. Again, nothing against Kirby. Love you, man. I love the flips. I love it all. I love the swag. But you're here to be Aaron Rodgers' daddy out there playing center field. You're not out here to come up and lay licks on people. Although I know you come up from time to time and flip people and do all that cool stuff. Brian Branch is an absolute dog. I need him on the field in those situations. You bring an extra tight end out there, you bring an extra running back, you bring an H-back or fullback, and you fill that box. I want Brian Branch coming into that box and playing football. So I think that's what we're going to see too. It's been talked about already. They've really been hammering Ennis Rakestraw playing some nickel corner. Right? So if the right situation and he takes a step forward, I think you're going to see Ennis Rakestraw come in and play that nickel corner position. And maybe you see a little bit more Brian Branch reps at that safety position, man. And in a world where I got Ife Melifonwu and I got Brian Branch out there and they're trying to run this football at us, I like that a lot. How you feel about it?
I love it. And just real quick, no disrespect to Sam Laporta or Jahmyr Gibbs. You guys are on an offense that's going to feast. You guys are going to get yours. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. I just think Brian Branch, defense, we have some questions. Our passing game non-defense sucked last year. He's my X factor. Honorable mention, Jack Campbell. It's kind of nice where we don't even really need to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta. Hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep staying on that upward trajectory. Even if you guys aren't getting 10 touchdowns a year, if it's 7, 8, somewhere around there, a drop off in production is not by any means a worry to me. I've said that before in the Sam Laporta episode. I'm not worried about sophomore slumps. I'm worried about team wins. Both of those guys can help the team win. They're Jared Goff safety blankets, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jared Goff is the most comfortable quarterback in the NFL, I think. Yeah, not only does he have the best offensive line, he has 3 players he can get the ball to and distribute it to and completely trust. don't even mention Donovan Peoples-Jones, who we think is going to have a huge year. We got a lot of options. Jared Goff, got your money, time to shine. You got the weapons, you got the O-line. Let's go make some magic happen.
I gotta pump the brakes real quick. I gotta say, hold on, timeout, 20-second. It's not a full. Just
not
give me a 20
commercial.
Yeah, just give me a 20-second timeout because it's nothing crazy. But I do gotta say this, Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's not even your fault. Ben, get this dude the ball in the passing game. What are we doing, man? I'm watching guys like Christian McCaffrey out here catching all of these passes, right, and being a threat in the passing game. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs is equal to, or maybe even more dynamic in the passing game, man. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs can be a guy, if you get him the ball in space, he's just like J-Mo in the sense that he can take the ball to the house. If you get him the ball where he's only got one guy to beat, thoughts and prayers. So if a safety's coming down in space 3 yards or more to even 2 yards or more, and you got to make that tackle in the open field, good night. You're going to be on Sports Center and we're going to be laughing it up. Like I have the utmost confidence in that. So we got to get him the ball in space. And again, I want
speed in space. Josh Gaddis.
I'll stop it again. I told you I never want to hear that again. But I need that ball, man, and I need misdirection, man. Let's get J-Mo on a jet sweep and let's get some the second pass option being, a wheel route or a Jahmyr Gibbs, on a short route, angle route, whatever, man. Just get the ball in his hands in space with misdirection going on. Make these guys, all I want you to do is hold these linebackers for a second so they play on their heels and they're not just coming screaming, like trusting their keys, and then get the ball in these guys' hands in space. That's it. We have too many weapons for there not to be a things to hold these defensive players. They shouldn't be playing with their ears pinned back. They shouldn't be playing with confidence. They should be like, whoa, gotta hold for J-Mo. Now you handed it off. Whoa, I gotta honor and I gotta sit for Gibbs. Well, now J-Mo's behind my ear. Now Sam's slipping out. Now Amon-Ra St. Brown is sitting in the zone. We have too many weapons for defenders to play this game at a confident level. And listen, I know he's not a part of the show, but you said it. If Donovan Peoples-Jones plays this game at a high level, it's over. But I think that's pretty much where it's at to me. Sam Laporta, just keep doing what you're doing, right? For me, I don't know how the dude really gets better. I don't know how you say that, but if he gave me that same production for a decade, man, I think he just wears a gold jacket. It's not even a big deal.
It's going to be hard for him to duplicate almost 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns. It's going to be hard to duplicate. Yeah. Now, as a lot of people are going to say, is that considered a sophomore slump? I don't think so. I'm not worried about it. If he has a couple less catches, a couple less yards, a couple less touchdowns, that's perfectly fine with me. Make those third down catches. I'd rather see those than touchdown catches. Get those third and fours, secure those, get a first down, keep the chains moving. And real quick, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think we've said it from day one. He has not even scratched the surface in the passing game. Don't just line him up in the backfield. Put him out there at slot wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Most of them out there.
He is tough to cover. He is probably the second fastest guy on our offense, and I'd like to see that race between him and Jamison Williams.
What did they say? They said something like one of them is faster, for 10 yards, and one of them's got a better top end speed. I can't remember which is which.
I don't know. I've heard that, but I couldn't tell you which one was which either. Let's just line them up and let's just see.
Yeah.
Let's just run 100 yards.
I don't need to know, man. Those exotic cars, sometimes they pull hammies and all that stuff. Listen, but save it for Sundays. I don't care who's the fastest.
Ben Johnson, you got a bunch of stallions. Don't leave them in the barn. Take them out to the track. Let's get them loose. Guys, we talked about some second year guys. Again, we didn't really get into Broderick Martin. We got a little something we're cooking up for him. He's got his own little episode, so we don't really want to mention him. Honorable mention, Jack Campbell. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep growing. Stay the course.
Yep.
So we really were talking about the big three today. Leave some comments down below. Let us know what you think. Hit that like button. If you're new, let us be your go-to source for Detroit Lions entertainment. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.